WandaVision seems to be getting more and more strange. And we're going to talk about that right now and what surprises are waiting for us moving forward. Hello everybody and welcome back to Joker's Movie Network. I'm your host Joker, and today we're going to be talking about WandaVision. So yeah, we are 4 episodes into WandaVision, which is, I could say, roughly about the half point. There's supposed to be 9 episodes in this first season, so I would say 5 is probably going to be the turning point for this show. We're going to have a lot of action and a lot of main story stuff going into episode 5, which is going to play out as the show continues to ramp up towards its season finale, or I would assume. But yeah, 4 episodes into WandaVision, and it's something. And I mean, WandaVision started off pretty simple. It was a really cutesy show with a lot of classic sitcom moments from the 50s, 60s, now the 70s, but now it's starting to show off a lot of the trauma that Wanda has been suppressing since Infinity War and possibly even before then. But let's talk about what makes the show really weird. You know, going back to the pilot, at the end of the pilot when we saw the whole sword logo and it blew my mind. I was like, oh, something's going down now that we have sword in play. I've been waiting for this for quite some time because we already had SHIELD for a long time, and I was like, when are we going to see sword? That's when things start getting weird, and sure enough, things are weird. But after the pilot, when it ended and we saw that it was actually like being broadcasted on a TV, I thought that this was a simulation created by SWORD trying to like suppress Wanda for some reason. As it turns out, that's not actually the case. So we've come to realize that Wanda is creating this whole reality herself because, one, she can just do that. She's one of the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe, possibly the strongest, so it wouldn't be a surprise to anybody if she wanted to create her own internal universe for just herself, that everything can go the way she wants. But now it's obviously showing that SWORD is there to try to monitor this, to figure out what is happening to Wanda, because they think that someone else has her trapped in this weird reality, which could possibly also be the case, and I'm going to go into that here in just a minute. Because right now we have Wanda living out this cutesy fantasy that she's created for herself, where she's got the perfect life as a loving housewife and married to Vision, and they're about to have kids and everything is great, but reality is really starting to rear its ugly head as everything is starting to slowly start to come apart around her, and Wanda is constantly having to fix things by either throwing Monica out of the force field or actually rewinding time to reset conversation so things go the way she wants. And we can see that it's kind of starting to take a toll on her, because I don't know what the limits of her powers are, but it's starting to get to a point where there's things she can't control, and I don't know if this is necessarily part of her reality or if there's other forces at work. One of the big moments in particular is when Vision is standing behind her, and when she turns to look at him, it's actually the dead Vision from Infinity War after the Mind Stone was ripped out of his head, the one thing she couldn't change. And it was pretty freaky. And now we're just adding on to the trauma now that she's officially had twins in the show, which is wild. She was pregnant for a whole 40 minutes. But it's bringing up her past again, mentioning that she had a twin who was Quicksilver, who was killed in Avengers Age of Ultron. And licensing rights aside, we haven't even had any single mention of her sibling at all since Age of Ultron. It's just been Wanda as herself. So I think now we're really going to start rolling into this kind of spiraling just downpour of emotion when she starts to realize that she has to go through life now losing her brother and the one thing she loved more than anything in this world being Vision. Which is why I think it's going to be wild as we move forward with these next 5 episodes, because as we can clearly see, there's something else going on here. I don't really think it's just Wanda creating this world for herself to stay out of, because there's a couple other things that makes me think that there's more things involved, potentially Hydra. And not necessarily having to do with the ad that we had for the Hydra company, but more so some of the stuff that she can't control. One thing being the dead Vision, which we already talked about, but the other one being the stork that appears in her living room that she can't seem to get rid of. No matter how much she tries to make it vanish, it just happens to just stick around. And that's leading me to think that the reality she's made is not necessarily just her own personal doing, and I think there's other outside agents involved. And looking at it first, we thought it was SWORD, but now I think it's actually going to be a play with Hydra coming back in action, and we know they're back after seeing them in the trailers for Falcon and Winter Soldier, which takes place about the same time as WandaVision, so that's not out of the question. And while I'm interested to see what other forces are involved in this other alternate reality that Wanda has created for herself, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when it all comes crumbling down. Because after this season, WandaVision is supposed to tie into the next Spider-Man film and the next Doctor Strange film, which of course is supposed to supposedly bring about the multiverse. Which is why I'm wondering what's going to be happening with the fact that Vision is gone, and now we're starting to get flashes of Quicksilver, kind of, a little bit, it's mentioned here and there. I'm wondering if there's going to be attempts to bring them back in the multiverse, if that's what Wanda's going to try to do. She's going to end up creating the multiverse by wanting to have those people back in her life, so she's going to do kind of what Kingpin was doing in Into the Spider-Verse, more or less on a different scale, but I'm wondering if it's just going to be a fantasy reality that she makes up like the one she's currently in, or if it's going to be a true multiverse crossover that we're going to end up seeing playing out in Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2, which is going to end up being what Doctor Strange is having to do, is putting realities all back together. So would it be a true multiverse setup, or just an illusion created by Wanda? It's possible, but the true extent of her powers say otherwise. I do think she has the potential to make anyone believe whatever they want, as we've already seen throughout several runs of comics for Scarlet Witch, but I also think that it's going to start tearing holes in realities, and the multiverse is going to be born out of the just pure emotion that Wanda has been building up this whole time after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. But most of this is just, speculation and theory, so I really don't know what's going to be happening. There are still 5 episodes left for the rest of this story to play out, and if we're going to keep going in this weird sitcom route, it's going to be interesting, because if we're going to count down all those episodes, episode 8 would be a sitcom based in the year 2020, so episode 9 may be the part where the whole thing falls apart, which is going to be interesting, because I wonder now if it's going to be sticking with the sitcom bit and then going into the real-time bit where we have Monica Rambeau trying to figure out what is going on inside this world of Westview that apparently does not exist. But who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you liking WandaVision so far? Is it a little too weird for your taste, or is this the exact kind of content that you wanted Marvel to come up with? And let me know what you think about Wanda creating the multiverse that leads us into Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to talk about it. But until we get the rest of the episodes of WandaVision, hopefully more is going to be revealed in episode 5, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos, or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.